So here we are then, ladies and gents, the start of my most ambitious career mode ever, the new FIA Formula 2 Lando's Road to F1, where today we're here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, obviously round 2 of the real life Formula 1 season, obviously rounds 1 and 2 of the FIA Formula 2 season, and we're going to be taking all around Europe as well as, you know, dotting out every so often back into the Middle East, obviously at the start of the season and at the end of the season here. But yeah, as I said, we start in Bahrain, ready for the first round of the year. We're going to jump straight into the action here in qualifying, the very first qualifying session of the season here. And obviously it's important that we do get off to a good start. Obviously points are available in qualifying for pole position, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see whether we can get that. We do set the provisional pace on a 1 minute 43.0 there, I think it was, in the end, but unfortunately towards the end of the session though, our pace just wasn't quite there just yet. Made a big mistake with just 3.5 minutes to go of the session. You can see already by this point we're all the way down to P12 here, so not exactly ideal, but by the end of the session you can see on the dash we are up as we come in towards the final corner and make sure we get a nice good run on the exit of the corner here, and out down towards the line. How much are we going to improve by? It's going to be about 6/10. Where is it going to leave us on the grid? It's going to be P6 provisionally at the end of the session there. So overall a fairly good qualifying for ourselves. You can see P6, 1.5 tenths off pole. That's just how close this grid is currently there. But Ralph Boschung currently up on pole ahead of Nassani and Albon there. But yeah, as I said, P6, 1.5 tenths off pole. You don't really get that in Formula 1, it's safe to say. There were 15 thousandths of our fellow Englishman George Russell here at this stage of the session. But for any of you, that have seen FIA Formula 2, you'll know that the action doesn't quite stop there in qualifying. But yeah, by the end of the session though, we would hold on to P6 just ahead of Gunther, Latifi, De Vries and Markelov would round out the top 10. Sergio Seta would not get in a particularly good lap time there, just below. Jack Aitken would actually finish right down at the rear of the field there, and Sean Gallel, I think, just moved up right at the very end of the session. But here we are then, ready for the opening round of this new Formula 2 season, ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The stars of tomorrow, and we are certainly driving as one of those. Starting down in P6 for the opening round of the FIA Formula 2 season here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Ralph Boschung has already been able to score himself a couple of bonus points with that fantastic pole position lap yesterday there, but we start P6 just 1.5 tenths off. We're in for a cracker of an opening round of this season. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix. No idea what to really expect in this race. It is 5-6 lights here in Bahrain, and it's a very long hole, but it is finally lights out and away we go. They're off to a fairly wheel-spinny start there. I think we're going to have one of the drivers on the outside there. I think that's Nicholas Latifi. He's got a very good run. He's going to have a look down the inside in towards the turn. We've been swamped by him and Gunther. No idea where Latifi's gone through turn 1 there, but we will be able to get back around the outside from there, and we will hold on to P6 there. That's Anthony Fuoco not getting a good run on the exit of the corner there, and now we're up into P5 of this race. They were going to try and go across him in towards the next braking zone there, but he does try and go for a bit of a switchback move on the exit of the corner. Is he going to be able to get the run on the exit? It's going to be a drag race as we come down in towards the S section there. He bails out. George Russell does not get the ideal line through there, and we're going to be able to move past him, and then up the inside of Alexander Albon as well there. What a start to this race it has been there, but Albon does get the drive off the exit of the corner. A little too good to be true to move all the way up into the podium places of the start there as we break now down in towards the horrible double left-hander there of turn 9 and turn 10. Lose the back end on the exit there, but just like to keep the car pointing in the right direction there. So we're still behind Boschung, Nassani and Albon here off the start of this race as we break now down in towards the next corner here. Are we going to be able to close up to the rear of these cars? The AI do tend to be a little bit funny around the mod tracks, I know, especially around here. They do like to use the DRS at actually any given point. I do not use that. I do use it realistically still though in these races. You can count on me for a bit of integrity here, but we are all over the back of Alexander Albon as we come down in towards the final couple of corners of this opening lap. Are we going to be able to get a look? No, we are not there, but we do try and go for a bit of a switchback move on the exit of the corner. Take too much curb there and just cannot get the power early enough there to really be able to capitalise as we come towards the end, though, of lap 1. Still in the slipstream, still with the DRS and everything else. 185, 190 miles an hour as we come in towards turn 1 here, but we're just about able to get up the inside on the brakes there. He does brake a little bit later than me on the first phase there, but no idea what Albon does through turn 2 there, but that's going to easily give us up into P3 of the race there. Clearly just felt that we weren't going to give him the room on the exit of the corner there. So we're now up into P3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix here. We're all over the back now of Nissini here, just 1 lap later here. Roy is coming on to lap 4 there, so we're only a quarter of the way through this Grand Prix so far, and it's safe to say there's already been very action-packed of the start here, just trying to stay in the slipstream of Roy just in front of me here in towards turn 1. Very, very difficult, you know. The AI do like to move down the straights, do like to try and break the tone a fair bit as well, and the slipstream in these cars is fairly strong on the whole. It is one of the best ways to try and, you know, able to make moves work. It's one of those brilliant things that you want to see in Formula 1 where, you know, you can easily gain down the straights, but you also don't lose out too much through the corners as well, which is obviously absolutely perfect for a close, you know, close quarters racing series, and especially in Formula 2 where all the cars are equal as well. You know, people are paying for their drives, you know, they really want to try and prove themselves, and that is what we're trying to do as we come in towards the hairpin there, but unfortunately we just get squeezed out over the curbs by Roy just in front of there. Going to lose the back end on the exit of the corner once more there. Just trying to get a little bit early on the throttle there, but we do get the car nicely slowed down in towards the next corner there. I think we had Albon trying to potentially size up a bit of a move as we come through the corners there. We do have a little bit, we do have the radar of the car, so we know if someone is trying to send it down the inside there. But on to lap 5 though, and we're still all over the back of Nissini here as we come out of the first sector here in towards sector 2. We're trying to come through the S's here, just make sure that we don't run into the back of them. You can easily pick up a little bit of damage on the front wing here as we can break now down in towards the hairpin corner here. You can see Bochen is really starting to bunch us up just a little bit here. You know, he's trying to control the pace, but that is a really gambly strategy in Formula 2 here. But unfortunately, as we come in towards the next corner, we just lock the rear brakes there. It's not going to cost me too much time, but it is going to cost me the place to Alexander Albon there, and what a costly error that was by myself there. Not really ideal. I think it's going to give George Russell the run on the outside as we break in towards the next corner here. Is George going to be able to make that work? I highly doubt it. There a little bit of contact made with my rear wing there, but I don't think it's going to cost us really all too much there. But look at that, George Russell still right on the inside there, and just unfortunately has to bail out towards the end of the corner there. We chop him off as he goes for a little bit of a weak dive in towards the penultimate corner of that lap there. But yeah, very interesting from George Russell there, able to just keep the momentum swung all the way around the outside of me as we came through those last couple of corners here. But through the final corner, we're still all over the rear of Alexander Albon, so hopefully we can try and pile on the pressure over these next couple of laps. So, you know, we may have made that little mistake, but it is certainly not over just yet in this race. 180 miles an hour with the slipstream, with the DRS, 190 as we break in towards turn 1 there. But Albon, I felt, just completely came across me there in towards the braking zone, so unfortunately we set miles out wide there. That's going to give Antonio Fuoco, there, that place ahead of me there. But yeah, not really too sure what Albon was thinking there. Personally, I felt, you know, it just came right across me in the braking zone, and I just really was not happy with that defensive manoeuvre. But still, obviously, there is plenty of time to go in this race here. On towards the end, though, of lap 60, we are still trying to pile on the pressure to Antonio Fuoco there. He gets a very poor run out through the penultimate corner there. He's trying to play a bit defensive on myself, but it will give us a potential to have a look down the inside in towards the final corner of this lap. Are we going to be able to make it work? No, we don't. Fuoco just a little braver on the brakes there. He does try to place the car a little bit defensively as well, so we're just focused on trying to get the drive out of the corner onto lap 7 of this race. We go 7 down, 10 to go of the opening round of the season here. We are still piling on the pressure onto the rear of Antonio there. He doesn't play defensive in towards someone. We're going to be able to look up the inside as we come in towards the corner there. Get the car slowed down on the apex, run a little bit wide, and we will re-inherit P4 of the opening round of the season here. So still, you know, playing my cards right so far. We've still got a lot of time to catch back up to the rear of Alexander Albon, and over those next couple of laps, that was really what we were trying to do. Whilst the top 3 really started to fight each other, we were just bringing down the margins ever so slightly here in this race. Come on to lap 9 there. You can see the gap now is down below 1 second once again here, and on to lap 9 fully now through in towards sector 2. We were really starting to get closer to Alexander Albon. Obviously, the Thai driver here who's got potential ties with Toro Rosso for the real life 2019 season, but I don't think at the time of recording this anything from that has been confirmed just yet. And honestly, for me, I need to focus on just trying to get back past him here, try and boost my chances of getting into Formula 1 here. But as we come in towards Sector 2 here, just trying to get the car so down there, unfortunately, drop the car in towards first gear there just a little bit too early. Tried to get the power on the exit there, and nothing we're going to be able to do over the sand and the marbles there. Unfortunately, we spin the car, we lose a couple of places there. I don't think Gunther is going to be able to get the run on the exit of the corner here. He tries to look to the outside, but that is once again a costly error from myself. Gunther's going to try to look down the inside though as we come in towards the next corner. Not able to make it work just yet though in this race. So unfortunately, we're now back down to P6 here, and every time we make up places, we just make my day a little bit more difficult once more here. But we're still all over the back though of George Russell. I felt I've said this a couple of times in this race. We're actually back to obviously where we started in this Grand Prix as well here, in the slipstream of the ART driver in towards the final corner. He does brake a lot later on the brakes. They're just so much braver in towards that final corner. The AR just tend to be very brave on the brakes on this mod as well, which is obviously absolutely fantastic. You know, you don't want it to be all too easy for yourself here. But on to lap 10 though of this race. Are we going to be able to get the run on George there? He plays it a little bit defensive, not defensive enough though, as we brake in towards toe, and then we match him on the brakes there. Once again, do what we did to Fuoco a couple of laps back, and we're now back up into P5 of this race here. So still, if we lose the places, we are able to make them back once again though in this race. And just a couple of laps later, we were now all over the back of Antonio Fuoco once again here in towards turn 1. Are we going to be able to make any sort of move? But we seem to be a little too far back at the moment. We are gaining all the way towards turn 1 here. Are we going to be able to have a look up the inside? No, we don't. We nearly locked the rears there once again there. That was almost a flashback to just a couple of laps ago there, but we do try to get tremendous power on the exit of the corner there, able to get much earlier up the inside of Antonio Fuoco. It's basically going to be a drag race in towards the next corner there. We are still on the inside, but Fuoco just completely turns in on me there. No idea what he was thinking there. I'm not really too sure what we could have done there. I felt, we certainly warranted the space on the inside. It was quite clear we were on the inside as we came in towards the corner. That gap, although it was always sort of slowly disappearing, I personally felt that Fuoco, still should have given me the room on the inside, because, well, if you've seen Formula 2, you don't simply back out like that when you've got to go run up the inside of another driver there. But it appeared, even though I was a little bit screwed by that, Fuoco came up a whole lot worse in that instance there, and he would unfortunately have to retire from the opening round of the season. I think it's joined Arjun Mayani on the side there, which would mean obviously those two start right at the very back for the second round of the season. Obviously we do have the custom grid ordering, the top 8. Will it be reversed and everyone will it be in the same places as we move into the second round of this series there? But unfortunately from then on, we would just slowly but surely bring the car back home. Then we would be able to close it to the rear of Albon once again, but it was going to be too little too late on the whole. And obviously with everyone else getting caught out by Fuoco and I's instant, we would be very much in no man's land, which is a little bit rare to say in Formula 2. It was more reminiscent of one of my F1 2018 Williams Road to Glory episodes, where we sort of end up all by myself by the end of the race here. But through the final couple of corners we go. I think we have though been able to claim the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, obviously able to claim ourselves a couple of bonus points. When we were in clear air, we were ferociously quick. But down in towards the final couple of corners of this race, then it is going to be P4 in the opening round of the season. It's going to be a good handy 12 points on the whole. Then Boshan is going to be able to come through for pole for the race victory, heading to Saney, Albon and myself. As I said, in P4, I will certainly take that. A good solid opening round of the season. A fair bit of action as well on the whole there, but one exciting race to the end of the opening round of the year. Just let the other guys all come through. Obviously, George Russell came through in P5, but we would head back to the pit lane there. See Boshan ahead of Nassani, and Albon was able to round out the podium there. At the end of the day, George Russell and Gunther would finish just ahead of me there, with De Vries, Louis Delatraz actually having a phenomenal race that I think from the rear of the field there, ahead of Markelov and Nicholas Latifi would round out the point scorers there at the end of the day. So very exciting race on the whole there. Lots of action, lots of position changes as well, which is obviously what you'd come to expect from Formula 2 there. Luca Giotto even just missed out on the points there, ahead of Larandi and Makino, I think, in P12. I can't quite see on the small screen. Sorry, P13 ahead of Galeo, Aitken, Boccalacci, probably my favourite name in Formula 2 there. Seta Camera, Niri Fukushima as well, with Fuoco and Mayani, as I said. Not able to make it through to the end of the race. But yeah, as I said, we would set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix there as well. Purple in all 3 sectors. You know, once we got the car in clear air and we were able to make it work, you know, we were ferociously quick, but, you know, we still lose a lot of performance in the dirty air of the other cars there. But we will be able to claim home a couple of bonus points from the opening round of the season there as well, which is obviously really ideal for our championship fight. You know, we are looking to try and fight for the world title in this series as well here. And obviously, as I said, from qualifying, we were up 2 places in the end of the opening round of the season there. So yeah, what a very exciting opening round to start off the Formula 2 season, obviously to kick off the most ambitious project I've ever done on this channel here. But having a look then at the Constructors, and the Drivers' World Championship there. We're only going to go through the top 6 Constructors and the point scorers from the opening round of the season. Bolshunk, obviously, with a fantastic job there. 29 out of a theoretical 31 points. Obviously, the only thing he missed out on was fastest lap. Instantly gives himself an 11-point lead over Nassani there on 18. And obviously, Albon on 15. Myself on 14th, obviously, with that 4th place, as well as the 2 bonus points, which will obviously move us much closer to Albon there. Gives us a little bit of a gap over George Russell there as well, down in P5 on 10. Gunther on 8th. Nick de Vries on 6 points there, with Louis Delatraz for Artem Markelov 2 points, and Nicholas Latifi still with points on the board. If I'm not mistaken, only one team was able to get both their drivers in the points after the opening round of the season, and they would not be inside the top 6. Obviously, MP Motorsport with Bolshung lead, with Campos obviously second with Roy Nassani's points, Dams in third with Alexander Albon and Nicholas Latifi's points, if I'm not mistaken. Overall that as well, obviously Carling with our points as well from that race. ART obviously with George Russell's scores, and then Arden with Gunther's points as well there. But yeah, hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed the very opening round of this Formula 2 season. Let me know, guys, what you'd like to see in the next few rounds of this season. Obviously, who you're rooting for, whether you hope, you know, I can win with Lando Norris, or if you're supporting someone else. Obviously, it does give every AI an equal chance of winning. You know, it is completely even in that sense. You know, it is all just down to the drivers at the wheels of those cars. If you guys want to use any of the mods, they will be linked in. I think what I'm going to do is put a Google Doc down in the comments below. Obviously, the car mod is actually a paid mod as well, but I would still highly recommend it if, you know, you have got the money. You know, I personally went with sort of the whole Formula pack, and they are absolutely phenomenal cars and skins. And obviously, if you want to use the liveries, you have to buy this mod anyway. So obviously, if you want to do a Formula 2 season of your own, that's what I recommend doing. The tracks, though, I think are all free on the whole as well. And as I said, you know, I'll leave everything down in a Google Doc as well. But thank you all so much for watching the opening round of the Formula 2 mod career mode here. Obviously, if you guys are new around here and you do want to see more, make sure you do like and subscribe as well. The sprint race will be dropping tomorrow as well. I will have an F1 2018 video going out later on today as well. But as I said, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time for round 2.